Hey guys, welcome back on my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to talk about the Realm database. Okay, so that is a very efficient database. If you are going to store some local data in your iOS devices, then I would like to prefer the Realm database instead of going through the core data framework. Okay guys, and guys, why I'm saying this is a good database, so let me explain some benefits of the Realm database so that you can understand why we need to use the Realm database. Okay, so before going on the Realm database, let me give some description about the core data. Okay, so core data is nothing but it's a framework, guys, and core data is a wrapper upon the SQLite. Okay, so internally it uses the SQLite database to store the data, but the core data basically works as a wrapper. It provides some classes to interact with your SQLite database. Okay, and that is the ORM tool. So that is object relational mapping tool, by which you can perform some database operations using object relational modeling. Okay, but guys, there is a big problem with the core data. If I want to save any object, then I need to write multiple lines of code, and I need to manage the app delegate, I need to manage the persistent container, I need to manage the managed object context, and I need to derive all the models from the managed context. I think, yeah, managed object, sorry. Right, so this is all about your core data, and because there is a I need to write the huge lines of code. That's why I would not prefer to the core data, while if you want to save the data into your iOS devices. Okay guys, so let's come on the topic once again, and let's me explain some features of the Realm database. And as you can see on your screen, basically guys, this is very useful if you are going to cache your data. Okay, for example, if you are creating a news article kind of application and you want to save some news articles in the cache, so that user, whenever the user come on your app, and if they don't have an internet connection, then they can read the news article that is already cached in their memory. Okay, so guys, this is a very useful thing related to your Realm database. And guys, basically you can use to store the game data also, like your score or whatever your friend lists within the game. Okay guys, and you can create some dummy applications like to do tasks, and if you want to store the task, then you can use the Realm database. So these are some few examples which we have seen. Now guys, let me come on the very main topic, that is what guys, the Realm database is built to be better and faster than SQLite and core data. So guys, this line is very expensively saying that is what the Realm database is very much faster than your SQLite, or if you are talking about the core data. Okay, so guys, the Realm database is easy to use, and guys, make sure here that it is not ORM. Okay, so it is not providing you the object relation mapping like the core data provides you. Okay, and it's having its own persistence engine. Okay, so in the other words, what you can say, it is not going to use the persistence engine of your core data. It's having its own persistence engine. I hope clear to you what I'm trying to say here. And now guys, there are some key points are here, like easy installation. So guys, very easy to install. Just we need to install one pod, and that's all for your project. Okay, and if we are talking about the speed, that is incredibly faster than other frameworks like SQLite or the core data if you are working with the database. Okay, and it supports the cross platform, like the Realm is available for the Android and for the iOS also. So doesn't matter on which platform you are going to work. You can work with the Java, you can work with the Objective-C, or you can work with the Swift also. Okay, and there is a scalability is also matter. Okay, so if you are having a huge amount of data, don't worry guys, you can use the Realm database, and it is going to work as a faster. Okay, other than our core data or the SQLite, and it is having a good documentation and support. So I'm not going to depth in this point. Okay, and this is a trusted. Why? Because there are lots of applications which are going to be used our Realm database. So there is a Pinterest and Dubsmash. So I hope you can go on the apps, and you can serve that apps. Okay, and it is free to use. After all these features, you can use it free of cost. Okay guys, so this is all about the realm database introduction, and I hope now you able to understand why we need to use the realm database. Now guys, let me go through some coding practices of the realm database. Okay, and so that you can understand how we can work with the realm database, and then I will show you one example. Okay, and guys, one more thing, this video is going to be lengthy, so I would like to recommend you please stuck with this video so that you can completely understand the realm database, and I'm going to show you the complete CRUD operations in the realm database. Okay, so guys, the first thing is, what if you are going to create the models in your realm database, then the style will be, the designing model will be like this. If you are creating a user model, then it should be inherited from the object class, and there is some annotations like objc and the dynamic. Okay, so guys, because the realm database is written into objective c, and it is going to use your model to save the model, for that you need to inherit it from the object class. And guys, you need to mark your variables as objective, and because the objective C uses the dynamic dispatch, so that's why we need to create all the variables, all the model variables should be with the constant of type. Constant dynamic. Okay, and in the same way, I'm going to create one more model, that is our pet model. Okay, and guys, there are some functions which I'm going to create in my application to initialize these models. Okay, so first of all guys, let me create these model into our application, and then we can understand how we can save or how we can fetch the data. Okay, so for that, let me go on the Xcode and let me show you all the things. Hey guys, so this is my Xcode project, and this is the dummy project, and I will drop a link for a complete project, and you can download from the GitHub. Okay, for your practice. Okay, or if you want to see the code. Okay, by the way, there is a a storyboard, and here there is a text field, and there are some buttons. There are some buttons for the save the data, for update the record, for delete the record, and to find the data and to fetch all the details. By the way, there is a text field in which I'm going to enter a name by which I can update the data, we can delete the data, we can find, or we can fetch all the data. So guys, let me go on my view controller. So this is my view controller, in which I have created some outlets, and there are some actions which I have already defined. Okay, now the next thing is, what guys, I need to install the pod for the realm database so that I can use. So for that, you need to go into your root directory, and you can use the terminal. As you can see guys, I am using here my terminal to install the pod. Okay, so first of all, I need to init the pod, and then I need to install the pod. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to write the pod init code so that it's going to generate the pod file. Okay, and okay, so the pod file is generated. Now let me go into the pod file. Okay, and here let me write the realm library name. Okay, so for that, so guys, we need to write realm swift. Okay, so this is your code you need to install. Okay, so for that, let me now install this pod here. Okay, so for that, I'm going to write the command, that is pod install, and it is going to install all the pods. Okay, now guys, after installation, I think it will take, if you are installing the first time, then it will take some time. Okay, so it is going to download some 200 MB of files. This is the estimated basically guys, and after installation, now guys, the XC workspace has been generated. Now let me open the XC workspace, and then I will continue. So guys, as you can see, this is our realm realm XC workspace, I think here generated. Okay, so now let me open it. Okay, fine guys, so this is our realm demo, basically XC workspace. Okay, now let me open our storyboard and our view controller. So guys, this is our storyboard basically, and now let me generate models here. Okay, so for that, let me create one group here, and that I'm going to give the name as models, and let me generate a new file. Okay, that is going to be my Swift file, and I'm going to give the name it as user. Okay, and in the same way, I need to create one more file. that file name I'm going to give as pet, and in the user I'm going to import my realm database. Okay, so realm, okay, let me build the project first of all. Okay guys, so the project has been built succeeded, and now let me import my realm database library. Okay, and here now you can create your models. So while creating the models you should have to import the realm database library. Okay, and basically a module, and after that you can create your models. Okay, so first of all let me create my user model. So I think I have already created, so let me copy it and paste it here. So guys, you can create your own model. Okay, so I have a user, okay, that is inherited from the object. Guys, if you are not using if you are not importing this, okay fine, so first of all let me do this. Okay, so if you are not importing this module, then it is going to show you some errors. Okay, so as you can see guys, the object is undeclared type and all these things. Okay, so for that let me import the library, and then this error is going to be disappear. Okay, now let me create one more that is what a model, that is pet model. Okay, so for that again let me import my realm swift, and let me copy my the next model, that is pet model. Okay, so let me paste it here, and that's all. Okay, so now we have two models. Okay, that is user model and our our pet model. Okay, and now let me go in my view controller. Okay, let me go in my view controller. This is my view controller, and let me create one variable here, that is realm instance. Okay, so I'm going to give the name as realm instance, and you need to create only one time. So basically guys, here try I have used because I'm going to check whether the realm is appeared or not. Okay, so for that let me import here. Okay, and if it is appears, then it is going to give the instance of that database, and you can use that instance to store the data. Okay, fine. Now guys, I have two methods to initialize to initialize these models. So for that let me paste it here. And guys, one more thing, because I'm doing the copy paste, because we don't have much time to spend only this particular topic. Okay, so fine. By the way, this is my okay, so let me change it as pet name. Okay, so guys, I don't want to waste the time on the creating the model or and so on. We just want to focus how many lines of code we need to write to store the data. So as you can see guys, the main lines which we have write up to now for the database purpose, that is this line only. We have created the realm instance. Okay, but while if you are working with the core data, then you need to handle the persistent container, managed object context, and so on. Okay, by the way, so there is a method, okay, which is going to initialize our user and the pet. Okay, now while clicking on the save, I want to save these things into sorry, let me close this simulator first of all. I want to save the data into DB. Okay, so I have already prepared some data, and let me show you how what is the data here. Okay, so okay, so this is our data, and let me okay show you. So guys, as you can see guys, I have created some instances of the pets and the users. Okay, and each time I am going to initialize a pet to the user, so a user can have some pets. Okay, so guys, for right now, one to one is there. Okay, and now I want to save the data into database. So for that, what we need to do here, for that we need to just write try, and we need to access our instance, and then we can call a method that is write. Okay, and you need to pass a completion handler. And here what you are going to do, you are going to add your models into realm instance. Okay, so for that you just need to pass your model instance. Okay, so as you can see guys, I have added for the new pet, and let me add the user also. Okay, and in the same way I need to write the code for the pet1, pet2 or user1. So guys, as you can see, I have wrote the code to add all the models. And so guys, the main thing is what here, main thing to focus here, we are using only a single function, that is a write function, and it is going to take some function completion handler, in which you are going to add your models which you want to save in your database, and we need to just write only a single line of code to save the data. I think this is very easier than our core data. Okay, by the way, so this is the way how you can save the data. So first of all, after saving, now let me code for the update. And for the update, I want to first of all retrieve the data, uh, whatever the name has been given into text field, and on the basis of name I want to update the one model. Okay, so for that, let me write the code here. But before updating the data, I want to show you guys how you can fetch all the data. Okay, so for that, we just need to write only a single line of code. That is what guys, I think no need to put the try here. So for that, we need to write realm instance dot objects. Okay, so it is going to return a generic type of results. So we need to pass the element type, which type of element you want, okay, from the database. Okay, so let me pass users here. Okay, so I want the data of user. Okay, so let me pass the user dot self, and it is going to give all the users. Okay, so this, so now I want to iterate each user, so let me write the code for iterating the users. Okay, and each time I want to print the user data. Okay, so I'm going to just print the user model, object. Okay, so whatever the object is going to be written. By the way, so this is how your fetch all, and how it's gonna work. Okay, now the next thing is what I want to update the record according to the given name in the text field. Okay, so how we can do it, guys? Once again, I'm going to take all the objects, and I'm going to filter out the data which the name is going to be matched. Okay, so for that, let me write here for the filter. So guys, there are two ways you can set the filter, or you can set some NS predicates. Okay, so let me use the NS predicate, and let me pass here, that is what, for that I need to pass a string. That is what, guys, and my string is going to be, so in the users model, as you can see, guys, there are some name. Okay, so there is a name attribute. On the basis of name, I want to update the data. So I'm going to write name is equivalent to percentage, and I think add the rate. Okay, and I need to pass the argument which is going to be placed on the place of our placeholder, that is percentage add the rate. Okay, and the value of the name will be our from the text field. So let me pass the text field here. Otherwise I want to give a optional value, that is what, no name. Okay, and I'm going to take the first result from the, so whatever the matches I found, I want the only first match. I want to extract the first match. So for that, what I need to do here, what happens, so I have set the predicate. Is there anything cannot convert value of type string to, okay, so what is the problem here? Can I remove this? Yes. Now let me extract the first result only. Okay, and let me put the if let. Okay, so if I found any user, then, so guys, this is very simple. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to first of all targeting all the objects, and I'm going to filter out on the basis of name, and you can see how we can filter in the realm. Okay, so you can set the predicates here like this, name is equivalent to this, and if the name is not available, then in that case it is going to pass the no name, and it is going to fetch the only first result of the match. Okay, And guys, now here I want to update the data. Okay, so let me write the code for update. Okay. Hey guys, as you can see now, I have wrote the same method, write method, to write the data into database. And okay, fine. So this is the way how you can again update the data. So first of all, I'm going to update the model, and after updating the model, once again I'm going to save the model. Okay, so as you can see guys, I have updated the username, and I also have updated the pet name of the user. Okay, James. Okay, so guys, this is how you can update the data. Now let me come on the delete. So how we can delete the data? So again, once again, on the basis of name, I want to delete the data. So once again, I'm going to extract the user on the basis of name, and if user not found, then I'm going to print the debug statement as user not found. And here I want to delete the data. Okay, so first of all, I need to pass the our user which I want to delete. Okay, so I hope clear to you what I'm trying to do here. And okay, so if user is deleted, then I want to print uh, user is deleted successfully. Okay, so I want to just give the message. And if I want to find the data, so I think you have already seen how we can find a particular user on the basis of name. So I think there is nothing to show you. Okay, so but let me write the code here. And code is like this, and now let me print the user. Okay, so this is the all about our CRUD operations. Okay, now let me run it and show you how it is going to work. Okay, so guys, as you can see, our application is up and running. Now let me show you all the things. Okay, so first of all, let me click on the save so that it can save the data. Okay, so I have clicked on the save. Now the data maybe has been saved or not. How we can see? Just click on the fetch all. Okay, so guys, as you can see, after clicking on the fetch all, as you can see in the code, what code we have wrote here. So we have just writing only a single line of code to fetch all the objects, and you can see guys, we have fetched all the objects, and just we are iterating and just printing the model here. So guys, as you can see, we have zone, we have Adriana, we have test, and they are also having some pet objects. Okay, so pet model data. And so this is all about how this is going to be work. Okay, now let me do one thing here. Now guys, let me write the name Adriana 1. Okay, so as you can see guys, there is no any user with the name Adriana 1, but I am trying to find this user. Okay, so what happens? See, if I click on the find, then it is saying user not found. Okay, but if I am writing the correct name Adriana, then I am clicking on the find, then as you can see guys, it is going to be find our Adriana user. And now I want to update the user. So I think I already wrote the code to update the data, and I have prefixed the data. So I have just changed the username as James and the pet name as Jack. Okay, so let me do it. Okay guys, so now we are going to test our update. Okay, so for that, let me write once again Adriana here. Okay, and because there is Adriana record, as you can see guys, if I click on the find, then there is a Adriana record. Okay, so as I have already shown you. Okay, so now let me clear the log and let me click on the update. So while clicking on the update, what happens? As you can see guys, the model has been updated. The Adriana model has been updated, and the name of the Adriana has been renamed as Zone, and the pet name is renamed as Jack. Okay, so if you're not believing on me, don't worry guys, I'm going to fetch all the records and I'm going to show there is no any Adriana record. I hope clear to you what I'm trying to say here guys. Okay, so as you can see guys, there is a Zone, James and test user. Okay, now guys, what happens if I click on the delete button? Because there is no any Adriana record, it is saying user not found. Okay, are you getting my point? So this is how it is going to work. By the way, let me enter a name which is appears in our records, and I want to delete it. Okay, so I'm going to enter the test name, and let me click the delete button. So as you can see guys, user deleted successfully. Now let me click on the fetch all. So guys, as you can see, there are only 2 records, and as we know, initially there were 3 records, okay, but right now there are only 2 records. Why? Because we have deleted 1 record. Okay guys, so guys, I hope I was able to tell you something about realm and you are able to understand the realm concept. Okay, so guys, if you really like the video, then hit the like button and share with your friends. And guys, if you are having any suggestion for me, then you can comment in the comment section. I will see you in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe if you didn't subscribe yet. Okay, so have a nice day, have a good day, happy coding, bye bye, take care.